The American dream used to be about buying a home. Now it's about finding one that you can even afford to rent. And I've talked about this a lot before, but this shift is truly rewiring how an entire generation thinks about money and security. So I want to talk about this new report where it talks about how suburbs, which typically have been the stronghold of home ownership, are becoming rental markets. And so households are growing faster in suburbs than the cities. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that a lot of renters are being priced out of cities because it is becoming too unaffordable to rent there. I think this is sort of a continued sign that the sort of contract that a lot of young people thought that they had with the economy, like you work hard, you save money, and you should be able to buy a home, retire, etc. Clearly, some parts of that contract are breaking for a lot of people. And that can be very psychologically devastating when your brain is constantly looking for some sort of certainty, right? And a lot of these milestones keep people anchored, like the idea of buying a home. And so much about home ownership is about stability, building wealth, having something that belongs to you. And when that becomes impossible or more difficult, your relationship with money changes. And as I was saying before, your brain is wired to seek security, and ownership is part of that. And so again, when that path gets blocked, you're forced to find security elsewhere or accept that security might not exist. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of very high risk behaviors around Gen Z and their money, like day trading, etc. I think the common response to this is like, oh, that's just dramatic. But this is a fundamental psychological shift that will affect every financial decision you make if you believe that. And the ripple effects of all of this are massive. So much of previous generations built wealth through home equity, and they just felt financially secure because their biggest expense, housing, was also their biggest asset. And I think a lot of young people are watching that contract break down and are starting to feel very hopeless about their financial future. The kicker to all this is that this is not temporary. Builders are prioritizing rental construction over for sale homes because rentals are traditionally more profitable. And so therefore we are kind of watching the economy restructure around a permanent renter class. And I'm not saying that renting is bad. I think it definitely makes sense for a lot of people. But the point is that young people are not choosing to rent. They are often being forced to rent because they do not have another option. And again, when the traditional path to wealth building disappears, people stop playing by traditional financial rules. They start taking bigger risks, spending more on experiences, and questioning, a lot of the way their economy is currently built.